Hey y'all, I know you've been clapping, but one more time for that incredible cast and crew. Thank y'all so much for attending this premiere here. This has been a long time coming, like I said, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So I believe this is the sort of movie that requires discussion at the end of it. So I made sure to book a little bit of extra time here for the Q&A. Okay, I'm opening the floor to questions now.
What inspired you to make this movie?
A lot of things. I had the idea to finally sit down and make this movie after I had seen another horror film, Long Legs. This is the sort of movie where you might not understand everything that happens in the movie when you first watch it, but all of the answers are somewhere inside, somewhere in the background, or a little thing somebody says, or a music cue. And I decided that's how I really wanted to make a movie. That's how I wanted to tell a story. So that was one of the things that inspired it. And then also, growing up in the Southern Baptist Church, I had not seen it exactly put into film the way it was in that first scene with the pastor, played by Woody. Woody's here tonight. Fabulous job. I've had so many people come up to me and tell me he was born for this role. So,
can you explain a little bit more about Patrick and what his torment was? I mean, I think there's things that were kind of apparent, but I know that there's like a deeper underlying meaning. So could you expound a little bit on that?
In my opinion, there are two readings of the movie, and that's just two different people going into the movie will have different readings, where either you can take this film and say, okay, this was a mental health crisis that was bound to happen, and the people that were surrounding him at the time were not really people that he could communicate with, or at least he felt he could communicate with at the time, and he was sort of let down by the people around him, and what do I say, exploded, or in a very serious way, you know, but something that happens all of the time, you know. And there's a second interpretation of this movie that I like to think is true, where this is a world where this really does happen. At the end of God's plan, there's somewhere that we're supposed to get to, and every bad thing that happens is a domino that needs to fall for this ultimate good ending for humanity, you know. And I wanted to tell a story about somebody who is sort of trapped in the middle of that, where something terrible happens to him for something, you know, good to happen. Yeah, later on in life, something that he won't be able to see, you know.
I'm really curious about the hospital location in general. What hospital on planet Earth lets y'all?
They didn't know everything. That was actually a gift given to me by Miss Charlotte Ware Epley, who plays Margaret, the mother in this feature. Give it up for her. She's here today. When I first gave her the part, she had asked me, you know, is it fine if I look around for some hospital rooms? And I was of course assuming that this would be some sort of corporate space that I could turn into a hospital room. And then 6 months later, she sends me an email and says, hey, I have an entire abandoned wing of this hospital that we could shoot at for free.
Wow.
And I had to rewrite some things. I'm like, all right, let's have this conversation out in the hallway, and I want big sweeping shots of the empty hospital. Yeah, so it was all thanks to Charlotte. Really boosted the production budget of this entire movie. I would say just doubled it.
Hi, so what's the single takeaway or question you want your viewers to leave with?
Takeaway, I don't necessarily have a single one. I really want to start a conversation between people of different faiths and different beliefs around the question of why do bad things happen to good people. I think that you can learn a lot about somebody's beliefs by asking them that question or hearing their answer. So that's the number one.
I've got one that might follow on that.
Yes.
I'm just curious about the darkness of the white light experience. you always hear about people having spiritual awakenings and white lights that are very like oneness or meeting Jesus or kind of transcendental. And then every white light experience in this was terrifying and psychotic and instructions to kill people. Where did you get that concept of like darkness in the white light? I think it's a very fascinating flipping something on its head.
Two answers to that. One is that originally, when I shot this, that was going to be fire. I was going to have fire coming up in the room. What he does is he vomits fire and it climbs up the wall. And then I'm guessing this doppelganger emerges from the fire and floats over him. But when I was editing it together, I had also rewatched The Lighthouse. And in The Lighthouse, not a spoiler or anything, but there's this, it's a black and white movie where when he's having the spiritual experience, a white light beams everything into white, and it feels like it's burning the screen out, you know, like watching like a projected film and the film catches fire. And I was such a fan of that as a supernatural visual cue. And then, like you said, yeah, I'm like, you know, why would a god figure or an angel figure, something like that, come out of a wall of fire? Doesn't make much sense to me once after I shot it, of course. And white light just made so much more sense, so I cranked up some of the settings, and I loved the way that it looked. And instead, I took that fire sound and placed it in when he was speaking, because that was a whole chore coming up with what would God sound like if I'm putting this together. You know, am I going to have this booming, angry, scary voice? It's just too right there on the nose. So I was messing around with the footage, and I put the fire crackling with the subtitles, and I could hear it. I could kind of hear what he was saying.
The writing process, I'm curious because you mentioned a few times how you had to like rework some scenes, or a new idea came up after shooting it. After having completed this project, what are things that you are going to try to like focus on your next project writing wise? Like what do you think you're going to try to do to make it easier on yourself and to maybe like plan for the future, or like changes, inevitable things like that?
Well, just like you said, inevitable, you know. So somebody much smarter than me thankfully told me very early on that there are about 4 different versions of your script. You know, there's the one you write, and then there's the one you shoot with, and there's the one you edit, and there's the one that you rewrite everything before you release the script, or people think that you had these ideas all along. And truthfully, it was not hard on me at all. Whenever these changes came up in the script, in the story, they were because I loved the idea. Somebody gave me an idea and I loved it, or a wonderful opportunity like that whole wing being open to us. You know, I changed the script whenever very good things happen, and I try very hard for bad things not to happen. Lots and lots of pre-planning, knowing exactly what I want before I use up anybody's time. These fabulous actors and cameramen and just this crew, I want to have something that I'm very sure of, but you can never be 100% sure. So when I'm presented with a great opportunity to make this film even better, that's when I make a change to it. So I don't plan on preventing those changes, maybe just by talking to more people in the pre-production stage, people who are interested early on. Maybe we'll probably eliminate some of those, but when they come up and they're great ideas, I'm able to change the script for the better, I welcome them.
I'm curious about the video series that they were watching in the process of. What is Scratch's the director's cut?
Thank you. Sometimes when they're showing a film in a movie, they pay someone $1 million to use 5 seconds of a clip of their already shot movie. I knew I couldn't do that, so I thought it would be a bit more realistic to make Patrick out to be sort of like, you know, like somebody who watches YouTube. It's a YouTube playthrough. The game, Scratches, it was created, and then another company bought the game, and then that company went bankrupt and took the game with it. So no one can sue me for it. I can use the music, thing because no one owns it. You can, the creator of the game publicly encourage people, go pirate it right now. Look up where you can pirate the game. It doesn't belong to anyone. So then I knew about the game, so I was looking up gameplay videos, and I found one person that had, under 100 subscribers, the Eye of Stone, and he had like an 8-part playthrough of it. And I emailed him and asked him if I could please use it, and he was the only one who responded. I have other YouTubers I messaged, but he hasn't responded since the movie was made, so I don't know if he knows he's in this. But that's the story with Eye of Stone and Scratches, so go download it right now. It's a great little point-and-click little mystery game. It's great.
I had a question. Bill's character seemed pretty sure that Patrick living the bridge stabbing was an act and choice by God. I was really curious what his character would think about the end of the movie, and if he was still sure in his faith that, his presence in the mental health facility was like the part of the plan, or what his personal feelings were.
That's a very good question. I think that our wonderful Chandler Smith, who played Bill, yes, give it up for him. Give it up for him. I love working with him. First of all, that was my favorite scene when it was in the script. I love that scene. And I think that's another dividing point in the audience, where people who are horrified by the things he's saying right now, and people who are like, yeah, you really put that guy in danger, and he had to die because you needed to stay here. But I think that Chandler did a fabulous job in that last scene with the psychiatrist playing Bill, where he is very unsure. He has very unsure feelings. He is having a lot of inner turmoil. But you see in that final scene, which also his sister Amy had mentioned in the funeral scene, where he is one of these people who is just able to go to church, lead in worship, and just let it go. Like a superpower. Whatever trauma he's going through, he's able to just sing and praise, and it leaves him. And that is my interpretation of that final scene. So, of course, he's feeling mixed feelings by the end of it, but as far as the guilt or anything, seems to just kind of wipe right off of him by the end of it.
What part of South Carolina were you basing the movie out of?
Blacksburg, South Carolina. It's right on the border. I used to drive through that area to get to somewhere else, all the time. And I just love that area. It's just so Wild West to me. It was a great place to base the story in. But the only thing I didn't get was that sign that said "Welcome to Blacksburg," which I did not put in the film.
As a South Carolina native, I did recognize some things, and that's where my question came from. And my second part of the question was, how was it working with the cast? What were your favorite parts of filming this movie?
Oh, thank you. Well, doing all this for the first time, I've shot a music video, 2 music videos before, but that is all I had done. So, Manu sent me some incredible actors, Victor and Joshua, who did a tremendous job. And as far as acting, I had to do, I would say, very little directing here. Like, they read the script, they memorized their lines, they knew their motivations, exactly what they should be doing. And that made it very easy on me as a new director. I could just say when something seemed just a little wrong, and I could do minor correcting, but it was because of these incredible actors. And I want to do more directing because I love working with people who are so good at their thing that they're good at. Lighting people, camera people, sound people. They're so good. Actors, they're so good at their task, and it was fabulous. It was so fun to watch them work. I forgot to say cut more than a few times just watching them act. I had to transition out of being an audience member into a director at some times, but yeah, that was the best part, just watching this movie come to life, because I had no idea what it would look like and sound like until I was there on set. And it's like, it's incredible.
Okay, so my question was, with this movie being so personal for you with your journey in the church and growing up in the Southern Baptist Church, is there a character in the movie that you relate to? If there is, which one do you relate to the most and why?
Thank you. This sucks to say, but let me explain myself.
Is it Patrick?
No, it's Bill. It's Bill. I'm so set in my ways. Sometimes I get extremely frustrated when people act a way that I wouldn't act. Where Bill is older brothering the situation. He's taking control of the situation. He's there with mom. He's, I'm guessing he handles the funeral and everything, and Patrick shows up and he's just quiet and he's not talking to him, even though they haven't seen each other in so long, and he's like just looking at mom, and it's like, you're being weird, you are trying to start drama, and you're making it all about yourself.
Don't antagonize her. Don't get all quiet. And don't make it about you. I
have to tone down those feelings in myself sometimes. People just act some way that I'm like, why are you doing that? Just be more like me.
What was your worst day?
My worst day?
Yeah.
I'll tell you my worst day. So it's the scene where Richard is on the bicycle. The funniest, silliest scene in this dark movie. Or he's on the bike and he's pushing it across. So originally he was supposed to be riding the bike. Just everything fell apart. So I'm driving to Rutherfordton. It's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, was it? Maybe 3, 3 hours. I have 10 people who are there to do a job. They all show up. We're at the hospital. We get it cleared. It's so early. And Rich hops on the bicycle and pedals it for a second. First of all, the tires are flat. I'm like, it doesn't matter, it's a movie, so just act like the tires are full of air. And just roll across this. There's a shot, now. And so he rides it for a second, and the chain snaps on the bike as well. And so I'm just... like you could push the bike. Could you push the bike across the...
I swear you get that bike from like a museum somewhere. It's like an antique.
So he could swear that I got the bike from a museum somewhere. Bikes go outside, and outside is where the rust is. So that was so fun. And then I just had to shoot all the rest of all the hospital scenes the same day after that happened. But you can't just do a good job when you're in a good mood.
That's right.
Is the lesson I learned that day.
Okay, you gotta pitch us. What's happening next, and when can we see your next project?
I am halfway through writing the script for my next project. It's going to be a full-length crime drama called Dope Heads. It is right now, like I said, rewriting. It is about a dirty cop who recruits the help of a mind reader to kill his boss. And I paid for this film completely out of pocket. Well, not completely. I had two wonderful donors, Richard Valentine behind the camera, and my girlfriend Heather Williams, my two producers, two executive producers. Other than that, I saw how much a scene would cost, and then I saved up enough money, and then I shot it, and I did that 7 times. So that's why this film took a year to shoot. So after I finish the script for that, which should be, soon, I don't think it'll take another 6 months to finish it. I know everything that happens. Then I need to work with getting investors because I'm not doing that again. I'm not paying it out of pocket again. So it's hard to give a real timeline because I don't know who it'll be, but I really, really want to make another one. So soon, but I got the story. I'm thinking about putting the script on Substack whenever it's out. Maybe you get some buzz so y'all can read it. I think that you'll really like the story. But that's where I am on the next feature. Next question.